Now then. So, would you believe it? I'm back. It's been a few months, obviously. So before I kind of got back into content and that kind of thing, I just wanted to do a sort of video like this, not super long, to just sort of go over where I've been and what I'm planning to do with the channel. Um, so sort of start at the beginning. What will this be? 3-4 months ago, as has kind of happened while I've been doing Gwent over the years, is you sort of get these periods of burnout, which is sort of natural. I mean, I was playing a month where I hadn't played much would be maybe like 200 games in that month. So when you're doing that for a few years, you sometimes just kind of get bored, whether it's a change in the meta or something you're not really clicking with that month. And that's happened before, so I was just having like a month or so where I was like, I'm not really feeling the game. I'll just take a bit of a break. And then sort of off the back of that, going into the month after, I think it was when like the Masters was on or something like that, or one of the Opens. They announced that, going into this will basically be the last year of when where CDPR's sort of running it. Now I know that it's gonna be like community led, or I didn't really look too much into the specifics of that because I mean I've been around CCGs to know that what that means basically. And I'm not optimistic about it because I know some people have, said that yeah, it'll still stick around, for years to come, but I've seen this many times in other games and it never goes that way, unfortunately. It's pretty much the end when the company kind of jumps ship on the game a little bit. That's kind of it. So I'm not sort of holding out any optimism. Obviously, if it does stick around, I would be very happy. But I don't think it will. So sorry if that puts a bit of a dampener on what you were hoping would go in, but that's at least my personal opinion, and I would love to be proven wrong, but there we are. And sort of coming off of that, obviously getting that news, which basically means, the content that I do won't be feasible going forwards. I sort of needed some time to have a think about what I wanted to do with the channel. Was that kind of going to be the end of like content creation for me? Was I going to leave it there, move on to something else? So I just needed some time to sort of think that through and everything, rather than just going on and pretending nothing's happening and then the next day be switching it up once I decided. So I feel like I'm at that point now where I kind of know where I want to go. So regular Gwent content this is sort of going to be the end of it. I'm not saying there won't be any more Gwent videos. I may, do some spotted here and there, but certainly regular Gwent content is sort of, that's it for the channel. In terms of what I'm going to do going forwards, I'm still somewhat undecided on exactly how the channel's going to work and look going forwards. But I think at least for now, CCGs are kind of always going to be very central because it's the thing I'm good at and the thing I'm interested in. So that's certainly going to stay central. So I think at least for now, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Marvel Snap are going to be sort of central for the channel in terms of the content I'm covering. And going forwards, we will see. May well be that Snap really takes me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Really takes me, and we, make that the primary thing. Maybe it goes a bit more variety. I really am very undecided. Very undecided on this. Outside of like games and stuff, there's sort of other things I wouldn't mind trying to make some stuff for. I wouldn't mind doing like some of my art kind of stuff, putting up time lapses, that kind of thing. Or I kind of want to get into doing like some modeling, crafty kind of stuff, so like making dioramas and that kind of thing. Maybe we put up some videos about that. I'm really not too sure where we go with this going forwards. But at least for now, it's going to be CCGs is sort of where I've landed in my head. A year from now, who knows? But at least for now, it's going to be CCGs. Now I appreciate that there will be sort of a lot of people who watch my content because it was Gwent and aren't too interested in seeing much else, and that's fine. No hard feelings by any means. I completely understand that. and I know there's a lot of people who, you know, aren't going to watch my stuff going forwards because it's not Gwent, and you know, that's fine. I'm fine with that, and obviously if you do want to stick around, I really appreciate it. And hopefully I can keep putting out stuff you want to see. I did just want to talk about, I mean, Gwent for a little bit, because it's been a big thing for me, you know. It's strange that a card game has become such a big thing for me in such a short amount of time, but I mean, I owe a lot to the game. It's, at least in my opinion, the best sort of CCG format out there, and it sort of drew me in with both like the art style and how it's very, very different to other CCGs. And I do feel, you know, somewhat sad about it, because I think this is nothing against CDPR. I think it was a case of they were in a position to make Gwent work long term. But I think, you know, in different hands, this may have been a different story, because I think the way Gwent operates, it definitely could have been, you know, one of those kind of big name CCGs that kind of stick around very long term. So it's just a shame. But as I say, that's nothing against CDPR. You know, we're talking hypotheticals. Maybe it would have turned out differently. Maybe it wouldn't. Who knows? But you know, I still owe a massive amount to Gwent in general, because you know, there's so many people that I've actually met because of the game. So whether that's like other content creators, people who watch my stuff here on YouTube, people who, when I've streamed, would, you know, come in the streams and, you know, chat with me and stuff. A ton of people that, you know, I have never met if it wasn't for the game. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. In terms of like content creation-y kind of things, it's not really something I'd ever really thought about doing. And it turns out I really enjoyed doing it. You know, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. And it's not like, with the size of my channel and everything, this is something that's paying the bills or anything. It's very much like a hobby. Obviously I make a small amount on the side, but we are talking a small amount. But I do enjoy doing it, and that's why I, you know, keep making videos and that kind of thing. And whether I'd have discovered that if it wasn't for Gwen and me kind of thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind doing something on this, I don't know. So I am very grateful to the game for that. But you know, these things have got to end sometime. It's definitely unfortunate, but kind of is what it is. Now, getting back to kind of where we're gonna go with the channel, I think sort of going forwards, certainly over like the next couple of months, I'm definitely going to be putting out sort of some polls to try and get a feel for what people want to see from the channel. So if you kind of want to have a say, you can obviously chuck a comment. You know, if you got thoughts right now or stuff you'd like to see or whatever, please comment below and let me know. But I'll also be running, you know, some polls just to try and get a feel for what people are looking for, what they like, what they don't like, that kind of thing. So I'd really appreciate your input, so I can, you know, take it with a pinch of salt and run with it and sort of apply it to the content going forwards. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. I didn't want to make this some half an hour video, just wanted to, you know, get everyone back up to speed, for lack of a better phrase. It does feel like kind of an end of the era for me a little bit. With Gwent, it's definitely a sad time, but it was gonna come eventually, right? It was definitely, I always kind of knew in the back of my mind, Gwent was not gonna be around forever. So yeah, it's definitely sad, but it's the way things go. So obviously appreciate everyone who's been watching my stuff, whether that's you just came to my channel on my last video I put out before this, or you've been there on since the first, whenever it's been. I really appreciate you watching my stuff. I know it's very cliche, but you know, the sort of the direction the channel's gone and the size it's got to wouldn't be possible if people didn't watch my stuff and support me. So I do really, really appreciate it. And we'll call it there before I get too soppy. So appreciate you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.